All right, this is a tangent. I want that to be known and clear off rep, because I was getting into dealing with the welfare system, if it could be said as such, because it does. This is another one of those big issues, because welfare is impacted. In my view, welfare is impacted by a couple of things. One of those things is the makeup of the household. Is it a 2-income household or is it a 1-income household? And that's one of my biggest determining factors. Now, that's one of mine, if I'm going to say anything. The second part of that is how many people under the age of, let's say 16 are there, because you can legit get a job at 15. So that's another thing that comes into factor. And then the other big thing that I believe has an impact on it is where you live at. Not so much all the time your race, but where you live at. Because they've already assumed that a certain group of people are going to live in this specific area, so it doesn't matter what race you are. See what I'm saying? See, this is the thing that people don't understand. They say that there are white people in the hood too, but the thing is, the system was not designed. It was designed specifically for one race, but when they did the math and recalculated it, it works for anybody. Just like the classification of nigga works for anybody, the classification of poor works for everybody. They are quote unquote poor rich people. They're not the creme de la creme. You know what I'm saying? They new money. Dude, if you got $100,000 in the bank, you rich. But that's just my point on it. Now back to welfare and all that. So welfare and Social Security kind of in hand. All that stuff is together. It is a way for the government to help people to get out of. It's a way for the government to get people on an even playing field, but it's been handcuffed. Because I think about how it works. Now, just think about food stamps, for example. Now, there are pros and cons to this thing, and I think it should be revamped all the way around. And I'm going to say exactly where I think it might need to be changed in a minute or so. All right. But if you got one person, right, one person income, the most you can make a year is, I think it's something astronomically low, like maybe $10,000 a year. I'm not 100% sure. I will have when I release this, I will have the accurate thing. But I'm pretty sure that if you're a family of two, you can't make $20,000 a year. If you make $20,000 a year, you can't get food stamps. So you're still struggling. See what I'm saying? Like, it would think that if you make $25,000 a year, you're still below the poverty line and you could barely afford food. So, and you can't get food stamps? Really? But there are people right now that ain't worked since 1952. They get $300 a month in food stamps. Plus other benefits that they get, that they can sit on their butt forever and not work. Man, what? See, that's why I said there's a flip side to this. Now, I believe, this is one of them, I believe, if you have children of working age and you are on welfare, There is an untapped resource, and your assistance should be adjusted accordingly. Now, I said that not to say that if you got a kid under 15 and he wants to work, he's cutting grass, selling papers, whatever, what have you, hey, let him hustle. No problem. But again, with education, you need to be teaching your children how to save and how to invest in, they got to pay where they lay. Or pay their way. At 15, I'm going to say this. And Mackie, Josiah, you can quote me on saying this. At 15, I will sign whatever work permit you put in front of me. Because that tells me, listen, I don't have to worry about buying you clothes, shoes, or video games. And I can just focus on college and beyond. Because I understand, looking back on it, at how much was spent for me to go to college. And the numbers say that I'm going to need twice that to send my kids to college. I'm going to need twice that to send my kids to college. So I need at least 4 years. I need 4 years to get my. If I don't have it, then I got 4 years. Because I want the best for my kids. All right. But back to the whole thing. I don't believe that it should be a generational thing. I don't believe that being on welfare is something that should be passed down. Right? And that goes to, you got to break up the project mentality. You know what I mean? Where we've been living here for generations. Okay, well, why haven't one of y'all generations got together and bought a house? You know what I'm saying? Y'all still living in the hood. Why hasn't nobody bought a house yet? You know, that's what I'm screaming. Oh, we comfortable here. There you go with that comfortable stuff. Okay? And I get it. I get it. You don't have to worry about cutting the grass. You ain't got to worry about this. You right on the bus route. I've been taking the bus for years. Right on the bus route. You know what I'm saying? Go to school on the bus. Whatever, what have you. But see, there's more of America. Now, I ain't bump my head and say there needs to be another Great West Migration or anything like that, but that's part of the health. That's part of the health and safety issue. Because you've got people crammed on top of people, on top of people, on top of people. And if, prime example, there are places that I've heard of in New York, Connecticut, wherever you want to say, where there are 4 different corners. And there are 4 different drug dealers on those corners. 4 corners. Yo, I mean, like, not to say that's a good example, but that's just to show you how close everybody is jam-packed together. That's the other reason why COVID went rampant and people was crazy and deranged about talking about, oh, I gotta go outside, because they were so used to being around so many people. Now, I understand what the science says about kids and their development. I get that, all right? And I also get the argument that, oh, the kids are safer in schools, or whatever, as far as COVID is concerned. But at the end of the day, yes, they're safer in schools. But what happens in the locker room, after school, or on the way? You know what I mean? As a kid, I remember we used to hang out for 5-10 minutes after school. You know what I mean? So that's the time that the infection is being passed and spread. See what I'm saying? You monitor the kid all day, cool. They social distancing, great. But that 5-minute contact, you see what I'm saying? See, and that's what the education is about. Like, yo, listen, you have to understand. I understand that this is a difficult time. I understand that. Okay? But it's only made so more because you're bucking the system. Not just you're the bucking the system, you're getting the wrong information. You're listening to people on one side tell you to disinfect your body, swallow bleach. Swallow bleach. You know what I'm saying? And that's the guy you're listening to. And then you got hydroxychloroquine this, hydroxychloroquine this. And they come to find out the same medicine he's been pitching, the same snake oil. The same snake oil he's been pitching you is not the stuff they gave him when he got the coronavirus. Ain't that something? I wouldn't listen to him, not never again. Not never again would I listen to him. Oh no, Playboy. Nah, you didn't. If he had any credibility with me, that's when he would have lost it. If he had. I'm not saying he had one shred of credibility to begin with. He was screwed with me from. I'm not saying, okay, you got me. I was a never Trumper. Because not pathetically, but I knew he was up to no good. Like, why would you elect? You went from the first African American ever in history. Go through the history books. Go through the history books. Go through them. Wait. Along with a whitewashed version of history, period. You forget about black congressmen and senators who ran out of town because they were black, or set afire because they were black. Hell, you forget about all that. All the struggle for this one black man. I'm sorry for getting emotional, but I'm serious though. You know what I mean? And then you go to Donald Trump, who has a history. A history. I say this to people all the time. They get in this argument. Well, such and such said this in 1994. Such and such said this in 2000. Well, what are they saying now? Are they saying the same thing, or are they saying something different? But if somebody got one hit, that's they one hit, and they gonna go for it, baby. And anytime it come up in conversation, yeah. You know what I mean? You get Donald Trump alone, man, you know what he say. You know exactly what he say. You know it. Anyway, and that's what I'm saying. That's why I say sometimes it is so easy to just gloss over history. Just gloss over it. But I started, see, this is a tangent one. All right, but I'm gonna try and get back on the topic that I was talking about.